A lot of the time I get people telling me, Ivan, man, you are overthinking this shit way too much. Just keep it simple, man, right? That whole KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. You don't have to think about this much, man. You don't have to. Just go about your day, do the lifts, do what's been prescribed. Don't think about it. Just go do it. It's very, very simple stuff. I'm not built that way. I'm not wired that way to not ponder on things, to not think about things. In my mind, it's like this, man. I like to do this. I like this topic. Why wouldn't I want to think about this topic? What am I going to think about? Gardening? How to clean my roof? What are we thinking about? This is a hobby of mine. This is something that I love to do, and I love to think about it. Of course, I'm going to overthink it. I'm going to underthink it, overthink it, all rolled into one. You're constantly in it. When I was playing basketball, I didn't think about baseball. When I was playing soccer, I didn't think about swimming. I'm actively trying to get better, and I want to understand it, and I attack it from multiple different perspectives, multiple different sides. I want to understand the thing from all angles. This is what, I don't like this word because it kind of makes you sound better than you are, but this is what mastery is about. I don't care if you are building a chair, you're making a chair, you're making furniture out of wood, whatever it is. You're going to be looking at that chair from a million angles trying to work out what is the best way to do it next time. Can I improve this chair? I understand what you guys are, some of you guys are telling me about overthinking it, but I love to think. I don't know what else to say. I actually enjoy thinking. And one of the perspectives that I mentioned in last videos is watching other people go about their business and seeing how they move. And sometimes I like to put on my X-ray vision, right? I look at somebody lift and I'm like, okay, let's with my eyes remove their skin, remove, the fatty tissue, and just view muscles, view angles, view insertion and origin points, and see what is going on. And I know it's crazy. Lost my mind. I get it. But I like to think of, there is a skeleton, right? There is a skeleton, and there is muscles. Now, I know for a fact, I've been to nursing school. I've seen many models of skeletons. You can grab that leg, that knee, and you can shove that knee basically under the skeleton's armpit, right? It's a lot of range of motion in the hip. Okay, no worries. Add the ligaments in. Ooh, okay, we're stiffer now. But still, lots and lots of range of motion. Add the muscle in. Boom. Problems. Limited range of motion. Lots of things are pulling, lots of different directions, and it becomes clunky, stiff, hard, especially if you are living your life in a very limited range of motion. Think about it. You sleep supine or prone or sideways, whatever way you sleep. There is no range of motion there. You stand up, right? So you get to a 90-degree position, 90-degree hip, 90-degree knee. You stand up out of bed. You walk around. Walking is next to no freaking range of motion at all. And people that say walking is great for exercise, I would disagree with you. Walking is great for mental. I don't think walking is great for exercise. What about it is great? Which muscle is working other than the lungs and the heart? I think, for instance, my mother always tells me, I'm gonna start walking every night now to lose weight. If you're gonna lose weight that way, bad idea. You could take that hour and a half long walk, compress it into 15 seconds of squats, or whatever, or box squats off a chair, and you'll have more production out of that. Then you come to the car. You get in the car, you drive. What are we doing? 90 degrees, not even that. I don't know. Depends how you sit. You go to the office, you walk around. So over our life, activities of daily living, we are rarely getting into any acute ranges of motion. We lock up. We come to the gym. I want to ATG like Clarence Kennedy. I want to ATG like Lokov. I want to ATG like Lou. Relax, buddy. Just relax. You don't know the first thing about human movement. You don't know the first thing about adaptation. People think when they go to the gym, okay, this is where adaptations happen. No. Adaptations happen 24/7. It's like a child. My son has learned more stuff from me passively than I've ever tried to teach him. He's always looking, observing. That's what the body's doing. Always looking and observing and taking notes. Okay, no worries. So 23 hours of the day, we never go ATG. 23 hours of the day, we never go into acute hip flexion. Never. and then an hour you try to do some business, and you want me to adapt into these acute positions, my friend, the ratio is 23 to 1. 23 to 1. You ain't getting there. Sometimes this is all we need to understand. Okay, that 1 hour is a very, very loud stimulus. Lots of range of motion, lots of weight. We're trying to do business. But that loudness is so transient in terms of time that the 23 hours of a low stimulus makes more adaptation than the one that's screaming. So then all of a sudden we're like, okay, what can we insert a few occasions throughout the day where we are getting into an ATG position, where we're doing something like some proper human movement and work. This is where the laborers stuff comes into play. This is where the grease and the groove stuff comes into play. People like to think about it. It's all about muscle. No. Mobility. My mobility has never been better than when I squatted twice a day. I did it a few times in my life for like week stretches. This is way before any of you guys ever heard about me. I was just messing around. It's incredible how good your mobility becomes when you're always freaking squatting. It's ironic, right? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But this is what happens. So I'm stripping the skin off. I'm stripping the fat off. I'm looking at the skeleton and the muscles and the tendons and the ligaments. What's going on? So when I think about my problems and how I struggle with a wide stance, anything, deadlift, squat, whatever the hell it is, I struggle. Cossack squats, struggling, man. Stretching for middle splits, struggling. Pancake stretch, struggling. Anything where I'm taking my legs and abducting them, struggling. So what is going on here, man? If I could X-ray vision myself in these lifts that I watch myself, what is going on here? What is limiting me? I don't think it's a far-fetched thought to say that the adductors are the problem. Think about it. The muscle that needs to get longer to spread your legs are the adductors. So if you are really bad, both at range of motion and at the strength at that range of motion for me, the wide stance, if you're struggling with that, what is screaming in that position? The adductors, they don't want to be there. You start loading it, they still don't want to be there. They are limiting you. And that pull that the adductors are experiencing in that wide stance is probably nervously sending these loop signals around the body to deactivate the glutes, to deactivate the glute medius, minimus, maximus, probably telling me to get into an anterior pelvic tilt. All sorts of things happen because my adductors are not happy being in that position. Today, right next to me, and the fellow that was in today's display picture, in the thumbnail, that's Thomas, one of the other gym bros that comes into the gym, and we share thoughts about all of this stuff, just like Jordan yesterday. I was talking about, and we were talking about this very thing, and he was saying how, he heard somebody talk about, going wide. We were talking actually about Jamal Browner. That's right. Tom brought up Jamal Browner and how unbelievable this guy is in wide, and obviously he's also elite level, like world-class level at conventional deadlifting as well. And I kind of said, look, man, he's so good that we're actually getting numb to him. And I'm just kind of like completely getting used to seeing this guy pull 400 kilos plus basically every time I look at the feed on Instagram. It's incredible. Like, the guy is a machine. But then I said to Tom, look, man, once upon a time, Louis Simmons said, if you go wide and you get strong and wide, you're going to be pretty damn good in narrow. But the opposite is not true. What is the missing link? Strip the skin, strip the fat. What is the missing link? Adductors. I don't see any other thing going wrong other than adductors. So in a wide stance squats, the adductors are stretched and they have to be long and they have to contract. They have to work along with the body. In a narrow stance squat, that muscle is short. It's in a kind of like in a different range and therefore different length, and therefore it's acting at a different phase of its movement, right? If I stretch the rubber band maximally, overstretch it, that thing can't contract all that well. I've overstretched it, it becomes floppy, right? You've overstretched the capacity of that band, and basically you're just waiting for it to snap. That's what a muscle will do as well. So if you get that rubber band to, I don't know if a rubber band can do that, but if you get a longer rubber band that is right at that end range of motion where you want it to be tight and still resisting, that's the right thing you want to do. So how do we make a better squatter in wide? How do we make somebody be more comfortable in wide? It has to start with the adductors, man. It has to start with the adductors. And I hate to say it, but maybe I need to do some Copenhagen freaking planks. Maybe I have to do some of those. Maybe I'll need to Google some of these girls. I don't know what they do, yogas and whatever, where they sit on the side and they pump their legs up into the sky using the adductors. You know, the underneath leg goes up, all this sort of stuff. Maybe I need to do that. Just get blood into adductors. Cheap shit. Get blood in there. Get my mind to like feed into the adductors and say, mate, you need to get longer. Get them stronger, get them longer, stretch, warm up, pump blood. Maybe I need to do some that sort of stuff. Because right now, like if I go into sumo, if I go into a wide stand squats, it's a struggle for me. I'll continue to do the SSB wide stand box squats. I think that's a great thing to do for me. I'll continue to do that. But the adductors, once you strip all the layers, man, I reckon the adductors are the ones that are pissed off and making me do bad. And watching Thomas today, he just looks comfortable having his legs in a wide stance. You know, his body's not fighting itself. He can exert the force into the bar. So his sumo is like 230, I think he said. My conventional is 265, and the best sumo I've ever pulled, I think, was like 210 or 220 or something like that. Way behind. And my sumo is basically like a frog stance. It's not even a proper sumo. I'm still hinging like I'm deadlifting it conventionally. Anyway, something to think about. Definitely makes sense to my mind, at least. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.